Hey guys, raMblEcAt here, and I want to make a little update video on my favourite builds that I've played so far in the leagues, the builds I would still like to play, and give you a little spoiler of the build I'm currently playing, because I very, very sadly ripped the Righteous Fire Slayer off stream 2 days ago. I was really enjoying the build. It took a lot of willpower for me to not remake the build. The main reason why I decided not to remake it is the leveling was pretty dull. It was a super smooth mapper. There's some stream footage of me playing it. It felt so amazing to play. The leveling is so unbelievably passive. It's super boring. So a little bit of story about this rep before I get into it. So I was just chilling off stream watching Noogie. Having a lot of fun. My boy, he's leveling up a Ancestral Warchief character. I find myself a Lichy boy. You know, we've killed like 5 Liches this league. We've already ripped once Lichy Boy this league. That's why I killed my Corsair Berserker. So I was a little bit wary going into the fight. I get him really low, and then I think Noogie said something funny, and I was just like, what? And yeah, I spaced out. I messed up. Hashtag blame that guy. But yeah, anyway. We died. So, why don't I remake him? Because it's just a walking build, and the way that build works is literally you just walk. And it's such a passive playstyle. For leveling, it's smooth, it feels good, but it's dull. Mapping, even though you'd say, but Tarke, that sounds like the exact same playstyle, isn't that just super boring? Not when you're getting returns. When you're getting really nice returns, playing just like a really smooth, very passive mapper feels good, right? When you're just like chaining super tight, super linear maps, and you're just running up, down, it feels great. It's when it's like, oh, my build hasn't got very good boss damage, and you know, we're killing Katava, and oh, we're now doing Dewedry, and that's when it feels kind of trash. So I didn't have that much fun leveling the character. The second I started mapping the character, it felt absolutely amazing. Now, nothing fundamentally is going to change on the build into the next patch. Even if they destroyed Leech, the build's still perfectly viable. The only thing which would kind of be missing, and the one thing which makes it a little bit question mark, and maybe make it again later in this league, is we probably won't have Abyssal Jewels. They haven't made a statement about if Abyssal Jewels will roll into the next patch or not, but I don't think they will, and if they do, they probably won't be as common as they currently are. So we would be missing out on a bunch of free regen while moving, but there were people who made the build work before Abyss. It will still work after Abyss, and I think I might just like start next league with it because it's super budget, and I just don't think I can stomach that leveling process again. So that's what happened. Now, what builds have I really enjoyed this league other than the Righteous Fire Slayer? Surprisingly, not that many, and I played a lot of characters this league. So I think the most fun I've had in this league, other than the Righteous Fire Slayer, was on my Caustic Arrow Berserker. Now, I played a lot of Caustic Arrow. Caustic Arrow is one of those builds I play nearly every single league. And the two builds I always used to bounce back and forth between is like my go-to, I will play this every league, was Explosive Arrow and Caustic Arrow. Now, I've been meaning to give Explosive Arrow a real chance since 3.0. I played it a little bit during the beta and was very disappointed by the state of Ignites. Most people play Explosive Arrow now completely, like, no Ignites whatsoever, straight initial. You can still kill Guardians, you can still kill Shaper and stuff with the current state of Explosive Arrow. You can put a lot of currency into it and it works okay. But, you know, the issues it always used to have of not that amazing single target are just even worse than before. When it comes to Ascendancies and stuff for Explosive Arrow, I would 100% play Slayer. I would have 100% played Slayer last patch. This patch definitely would have 100% played Slayer when it comes to Explosive Arrow. And that is also a big issue I've run into this league. So, anyone who remembers my Immolate Tornado Shot Slayer from last league, which I played to 98 and had a lot of fun with, that build got crazy buffed by this patch, with Watcher's Eye, with Abyssal Jewels, with the way that they've reworked Ball Pact. That build is so much better this league than it is last league. The reason why I haven't made it is I'm trying not to just constantly play Slayers, and I know I just played a Slayer, so you're like, but dude, you just played Slayer, what the fuck? The whole point with that was it was Righteous Fire Slayer. It felt a little bit different. One of the things I've been struggling a lot with this league as someone who mostly plays attack-based bow builds is not just making the exact same attack-based bow Slayer build, every single time round. So I haven't really played that much bows at all this league, and why I'm currently playing bow mines is I just didn't want to make yet another Slayer. And it's a bit of a weird one. We know that we're getting a big Ascendancy overhaul in the next patch, but I'm very curious to see how they can handle it without the attack meta being so dominated by Slayers and Scions. The current state of Leech is a little bit of a weird one, especially for hardcore. For softcore, you've got more flexibility because it's like, who cares if you die a little bit, just go for the zoom, Raider, Pathfinder options. But in hardcore, it's very hard not to just justify every pick to be either a Slayer or a Scion. But anyway. So, I had a lot of fun with the Corsair Berserker, and as Corsair Berserker, I've played nearly every single league now. I often have the point where, okay, I'm struggling with damage a little bit. Do I want to invest in the +3 bow 6 lane? Berserker just has so much free damage. I think I prefer Berserker to Trickster when it comes to life-based CA. I think for life-based CA, the best pick is probably just Scion. To be perfectly honest with you, I think Scion's better than Trickster. And there's a few guys who regularly just push hardcore ladder with Scion Corsair, both in main league and SSF, but I'm getting distracted. The reason why I say that is just one of the things which really goes kind of underrated when it comes to making Corsair feel smooth is the extra arrow and extra pierce early on, especially with stuff like Mirage Archer. So I messed around with Mirage Archer on my Corsair Berserker, but because I was playing with only 1 pierce and 1 arrow at the time, it really didn't feel that great. The second your Corsair goes from 1 to 2 arrows, it just feels infinitely smoother to play. You get the 15% pen built in with Scion if you curse an enemy. So compare that to the 20% Chaos pen of the Cultist, basically the same thing. You get a lot more flexibility, you get a lot more points in the skill tree to invest into life. I just think I generally prefer that to Trickster. But the reason why I like Berserker so much was the main issue you often have with Corsair builds is just a lack of sustain. They've never been able to leech, and they often struggle getting, you know, silly amounts of regen on the tree. But with Berserker, every time I walk ride, you know, just instantly refill mana, instantly refill your life. Mana is often also a weird one when it comes to Corsair, since you often have people invest in stuff like mana on kill, so on and so forth. But just be able to pop a walk ride every now and again felt really buttery smooth. Also, one thing I will say on that note, Itziri's Splendor chest is so goddamn good with Corsair, and I really don't understand why more people don't use it with Corsair. Itziri's Splendor is a super budget chest. You can get 100 life, 100 mana on kill. So it's just like, huh, with this, plus Berserker Warcry, you are always full life, you are always full mana. The only thing which will kill will be a one-shot, and then I go and get one-shot to Lichy Boy, and then go and get one-shot to Lichy Boy again a few characters later. But anywho. I really like that character. So, why haven't I enjoyed that many builds this league? And why have the builds I have enjoyed this league been damage over time, unconventional stuff? I spoiled myself a lot in Legacy. In Legacy, Harby, and then the Mayhem and Turmoil, I was just playing a lot of really dumb, really busted, mostly duo-based attack builds. Anyone who regularly plays with the support on an attack build to then playing solo on an attack build on the same budget, your build goes from like, this is so broken to, this is still pretty broken because it's current state of PoE, but not quite the same, right? So you need to remember that I spent a lot of time playing with duo with Kayn on like either straight up supports or pseudo supports, and messing around with like a bunch of inspired learnings. So when you go from having, you know, a pair of mini headhunters and a support hugging you 24/7 to just like, oh, start of league attack build, you're never gonna have the same levels of like oomph. So a lot of my builds have just felt a little bit limp. A lot of the like more typical attack builds were kind of limp stuff I've played in the past. It's also why I haven't played that many straightforward attack builds this league, other than a Namaku Cyclone Slayer, which I don't think I've made a video on, and my Tempest one-shot character, which ripped sadly to me making sec on a Reflect map, dying to Reflect in relevant year me. Anyway, so the long and short of it that I'm trying to get to is I've had to, like, readjust my expectations of builds and my approach to building builds because of I've basically had 2, maybe 3 leagues of just being spoiled by having ready access to support players. This league, me and Kane's schedule just haven't really lined up very well. It's mostly been my fault. I've been super busy with the IRL stuff. I'm currently busy with Grill IRL, so I haven't been streaming very often. But yeah, man. It sounds so stupid, but it really is crazy. It'd be the equivalent of, like, suddenly you play a league and then they remove, like, Quicksilver flasks. And then every build you play just feels so fucking slow because you don't have Quicksilver flasks. It's been that level for me. So that's why I've been having more fun with the more, like, damage over time based stuff, because those builds never really benefited from supports. And as a result, I didn't really play those builds very much when I was duoing all the time. So, my character expectation wasn't spoiled. This is like such first world problem stuff, but someone kind of knows what I mean. Anyway, I'm rambling at this point. So what are builds that I would still like to play this league, that I'm still looking forward to playing? I really, really, really want to play Bladefall, Spell Cascade, Spell Echo. And I actually saw someone posted a video on Reddit recently of, for some reason, a Bladefall raider. Bladefall used to see a lot of play. Then they made, like, stupid EK stuff. Then we had, like, Ignite and Poison. Then they killed Ignite and Poison. Bladefall is still decent. And I want to play more Spell Cascade builds. There aren't really that many builds which use it outside of the whole, like, Detonate Dead, Volatile Dead shenanigans. Stormcall is another build I would like to play. Stormcall is so obnoxiously bright and makes such a horrible noise that I know that mapping on it for like 10 hours a day, just stream it even for 5 hours a day, and I normally stream for like 10 hours plus, I would just give myself serious migraines and headaches. And you say, but Tarke, you played loads of Seraph Shard's Magma Orb, why would Stormcall be worse? The trick with the Seraph Shard's Magma Orb character was I just wouldn't ever look at the screen. Because it was a Seraph Shard's character, what I could do is I could just be watching my other monitor reading chat, and it was old school Berserker Valpak, so I was always full HP, and it hit everything. That being said, it used to drive me absolutely insane. So after that, I've kind of like ruined loud builds. Or at least very repetitive noise builds for me. Bladefall doesn't have the visual problem of Stormcall, like you can actually look at the screen while you're playing it, but the FPS is just god-awful. So I was testing it on stream the other day. Even with dynamic resolution on, set to 30 target FPS, 60 target FPS, when you play Spell Cascade, Echo, Bladefall, you are lucky to have more than 30 frames, not attacking monsters. The second you start attacking monsters, you're just at a constant 10 frames. And I don't know if I'm ready for the 10 frame master race. And it's a bit of an awkward state that I just want to briefly touch on, where there are a lot of skills I kind of want to play, but just because of like lag, I don't feel comfortable playing with them. If we had some kind of particle effect slider, I know, very controversial. If we had some kind of particle effect slider, you know, I could maybe say, oh, I'll play Stormcall and just turn down the screen a little bit. Or I'll play Bladefall with more than 3 FPS. But anyway, I digress. So I might eventually make a Bladefall build and just accept what are frames. Goodbye. But probably don't expect to see it until we get some graphical updates. Maybe that's something I'll play next league. Other than that, I really want to play a Bell Timber times DOS Molten Strike Thief's Torment build. Now, I know Engineering Eternity made a very similar build. He used the other pair of swords which make Abarax. There's Bell Timber and then whatever the other one's called. Bell Timber is the more expensive of the two. The other one's a lot cheaper. But there's also a lot worse for Molten Strike, I think. That one gives you 2 additional projectiles when you've been hit. The one I want to use gives you 2 additional projectiles when you've used a movement skill. So you dual wield them. So every time you Whirling Blades, that's 4 additional proj. Use Molten Strike, use Thief's Torment, and you basically make my Immolate Slayer build, but with Molten Strike instead. so it just feels a little bit different to the build I played last league. But it'd basically be that exact build I played last league, but dual-wielding Bell Timbers and using Multi-Strike Ancestral Core. So that's one thing I'm eventually going to get around to. Probably not crit, because they only have like 5% base crit, but you could make a crit version work using Scion Assassin. And then the other build that I really want to play, I'm not sure entirely how I'll do it, is I want to play a totem build. Now I know I league started on Ancestral Warchief totems. I have a weird love-hate relationship with totems. I love the totem play style until AI becomes an issue. What I mean by that is, I actually enjoyed playing Pizza Sticks. I only played it once or twice. I made a point of not playing it every single league, and it was just like one of the best builds to league start on for many years. But I actually really liked it. The only thing I didn't like about it was just the Reflect issue. I think it's kind of weird that with the old state of Reflect, part of the reasons to play a totem build was to scale loads of damage and not kill yourself to Reflect. But then you had a build where you didn't want to run Reflect because it was so frustrating that your totems would one-shot themselves to Reflect. I had the exact same issue when I played Siege Blister in the past. I think I played Siege Blister back in Perendus, or maybe the Prophecy, I can't quite remember exactly. And I really enjoyed the build into maps, and so I started hitting Reflect mobs, and my totems would instantly one-shot themselves. It felt amazing having these totems which would clear the entire screen, and then felt less amazing. I'm like, why am I rolling over Reflect on a fucking totem build? So maybe with the reworked Reflect change, so as you're not doing Reflect maps, still feels kind of dumb to be re-rolling. It feels bad to be re-rolling Reflect on a totem character, but maybe they'll feel a bit better. Now, as I said, I know I played Ancestral Warchief this league. The reason why I didn't really enjoy that much, I really liked it for leveling, and it felt really smooth for leveling. It felt very smooth, the little bit of Uber I did do. You can't map on it. It has no AoE. Mapping on Ancestral Warchief is one of the most depressing things I think you can do in this game, and I really would not recommend it to anyone. What kind of totem build, I'm not entirely sure. I know a lot of people keep wanting me to make Volley Flame Totem. Pox started leveling a Volley Flame Totem build in SSF, and I've been watching a lot of his stream recently. I know he's playing other games now, but when he was playing that character, Switch stream, giving us some tips and just generally chatting about the build. So I kind of don't know if I want to make that build, because I'd just be making the exact same build that Pox has already made, just with slightly better gear because I'm in a trade league. That was the main totem build I was going to eventually get round to playing, and I have actually got a Flame Totem Speed enchant helm, which I got from when I did my little bit of lab farming here. I have this Proj Speed helm, like, ready to go. I've had this since literally day 2 of the league. I'm just like, I'll do something with it eventually. And then Pox made the build, and I'm like, huh. I don't know. I've been watching a bit of Mathel recently. Mathel's currently playing a Barrage range attack totem Wander. That looks really cool. People have been nagging me to do some stuff with range attack totem and Mirage Archer, since you can use the two together. So I might make like some kind of range attack totem or meme ballista build eventually. But yeah, I don't really know. A lot of this league for me has been basically just getting over the mapping exhaustion of getting my first 100, and also getting over the spectacle or the power creep of just constantly like mapping with supports for two and a half leagues. It's been a bit of a weird adjustment period, but after playing lots of very shitty builds, I've kind of fallen back into my safe place, and I'm feeling like comfortable with the game again. So thank you. This has been a very helpful support meeting. But what's the current terrible build that I'm playing right now? Or is this probably been like a super long video? It's my KB miner down to a T, the exact same tree, the exact same build, except for instead of using KB, I'm using a Death's Opus with 2 additional arrows and swapping between Tornado Shot, Lightning Arrow. The one thing I kind of like about this build, which makes up one of the shortcomings of KB mines, is this build has very reliable good single target. KB Mines is broken single target if you can get the monsters against the wall. If you can't get the boss against the wall, it has no single target whatsoever. but blast rain mines just melts bosses. Just like instantly phase bosses while leveling so far. It's been really, really consistent. The other good thing about using bows rather than wands is the more reliable access to 6 links means you have easier access when it comes to stuff like Comb's Heart, or just going for random whatever uniques and more slots, because it's just you have more links to play with. You can have a dedicated AoE, a dedicated single target setup, and I'm basically just playing my KB build. Exactly the same build, but I'm not using a wand, I'm using a bow. Ah! So that was my very long-winded stuff that I've been doing this league, builds that I've enjoyed this league, and builds I will maybe play later on into the league. I'm Tarke, and I will give you a proper video in the next few days, and there will be some streams the next few days as well. Thank you for being patient with me while I've been doing my IRL shenanigans. Have a good day. Bye-bye.